Andy Burnham is officially the UK's new Prime Minister, being the 7th Prime Minister since 2016, but who actually is Andy Burnham? He was born in Liverpool in 1970 but raised in Cheshire by his two parents who were both Labour supporters, one a BT telephone engineer and one a GP receptionist. He became the first person in his family to attend university, and he actually studied English at the University of Cambridge, but he has said multiple times that he felt like an outsider there. He joined the Labour Party at just aged 14 after watching the BBC drama series Boys from the Black Stuff, which focused on unemployment in Liverpool in the 80s. After graduating from university, he worked as a journalist and a parliamentary researcher before becoming MP of Lee in 2001. He then served as Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Culture Secretary and Health Secretary under Gordon Brown and Tony Blair. He actually ran for Labour leader twice before in 2017 becoming the new Mayor of Manchester, and most people thought that his career in national politics had ended then. However, it was just getting started. As the Mayor of Manchester, he was known as the King of the North, and he was constantly clashing with Boris Johnson during COVID over lockdown restrictions and financial support for the North. He also oversaw the creation of the B network, which was bringing buses in Manchester back under public control. It was the first region outside of London to do so, and bus journeys actually upped by 14%. However, he is a politician, of course there is critics, and a lot of people from Manchester are actually critiquing what he did for homelessness. Burnham wanted to make homelessness and rough sleeping one of his major priorities in Manchester. However, despite coming down shortly, it went back up again. So despite rough sleeping having not gone any higher than its 2017 peak, it has risen again, and Burnham is arguing that this is because of things like wider national problems, housing prices and rent increases. Others are talking about Manchester's house boom. So whilst Burnham was Mayor of Manchester, many new high-rise apartments and houses were built. However, people argue that he didn't do enough for lower cost housing. They believe that his affordable social housing has not kept pace with the rest of the developments. Supporters will argue that the mayor doesn't have much control over certain development plannings, and many have said that he has increased the amount of social rent housing. Burnham has also faced backlash over Manchester's clean air zone, with many small businesses arguing that it could potentially bankrupt them having to buy new vehicles. Burnham did eventually oppose the clean air scheme, arguing that it's not appropriate during the cost of living crisis. So some of his first priorities as the new Prime Minister will include ending rough sleeping completely, which I'm going to make a separate video on, building the biggest programme of council houses since post-war, removing VAT from domestic electricity bills, expanding public ownership in things like rail, water and energy, and also creating a number 10 North to try and decentralise politics. In his first speech outside Downing Street, Burnham has said that he is not going to try to out-reform reform, but he wants to bring back hope for British politics. He has called this moment a circuit breaker for Britain, and whether you agree with his policies or not, British politics could potentially change massively in the next few months.